Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Fears Podcast. Oh yeah. And as always, my good friend and my trusted sidekick, Randall. Randall, wake up! Wake up!
Again? What?
I said wake up, buddy.
Wake up. What are you talking about?
I saw you sleeping, Randall. You can't fool Fears.
Was I sleeping? I don't know.
It looked like you were sleeping. So yeah. Randall, what's up? How you been, buddy?
Pretty good.
Good. How was church?
Pretty good.
Mine was pretty good too.
Yeah. I watched the Joel Osteen podcast.
I don't think I've ever.
For some reason, my church's Zoom meeting wasn't working, so I watched Joel Osteen instead.
Oh, so you didn't go into church? You just stayed at home and did and watched church?
Well, I mean, our church has been doing it over Zoom ever since COVID.
Oh, okay. So when do you think? I mean, because we're almost done with COVID and stuff. When do you think they'll start bringing it like where you guys can go back?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, well, mine recently opened up their doors in, I believe it was February.
Uh-huh.
So they've only, so my church is February or at the end of January of this year. So my church recently was in the same predicament. And then finally they said, well, things are starting to get a little bit better. We'll open it up. But yeah. So anyway, welcome, guys. Randall's prepared a few topics. Randall's two topics are, Randall wanted to do the top 10 80s movies, so I will pick my favorite 10. Randall will pick his favorite 10. And then he wanted to do the top 10 books of all time. So I'll pick 10, Randall will pick 10. And then my two, I prepared some questions that I've wanted to ask Randall about movies. So we're going to do that. And then Randall had a good idea yesterday, and I was like, you know what, Randall? Randall mentioned the Terminator franchise yesterday, and I was like, Randall, let's do that. So, yeah. So those are my two. All right, Randall, so since you're my guest, what do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the top 10 books? Do you want to start with mine? Do you want to start with yours? Do you want to start with top 10 80s movies? What do you want to do?
Let's start with the top 10 books.
Okay.
But hold on. Talk for a little bit. I just need to look up something real quick.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start picking my top 10. I would say
top 10 books.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Yeah. While you're looking something up, I'm gonna start picking my top 10 books. Hey, J man, what's up? He says, "What up, Fears and Randy? How are things?"
Okay, I'm done.
Things are going pretty good, J man. Me and Randall haven't been on stream together in a while, so we thought after church we'll do a little stream. So yeah. All right. So number one for me, Randall, has got to be the Bible. Number two, I did like Mark Summers' biography book. I have read his biography book twice.
Well, let's go back and forth. How many have you done so far?
I've done two, so you go ahead and do two.
I like Neil Fiore's The Now Habit. That was a pretty good book. It's all about scheduling and how to schedule your work so you can do it with minimal effort but still achieve maximum results.
Nice.
And my second favorite book is The Da Vinci Code, which is it's about a code hidden in Da Vinci's painting that has to do with the Messiah and stuff like that. Okay,
cool. Number three for me, I love A Christmas Carol. And recently, the new one that I got for Christmas last year. But I've read different versions of it. Like my grandma bought me a version when I was like 6, and I still have that one back in Missouri. But I'd say my favorite one is that little tiny red book that I got for Christmas last year. That was They made it look like the one out of that movie about Charles Dickens' life, and then they had it for sale, and it was like kind of a reproduction of how it looked like when it first came out. It's still the same story though, so off and on I've been reading that, and that one I think so far is my favorite version, besides the one that my grandma got me. So that would be my third one.
Okay, my third one is going to have to be Deception Point, also by Dan Brown.
Okay.
Deception Point, I'm not going to give the whole plot away, but they find a meteorite in the Antarctic, and there's something very important in the meteorite that will affect entire humanity for decades to come.
Very cool. The fourth one, I had to read this book in school, not once but twice. I read it once in grade school, and then I read it again in high school. The movie is called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but actually the original book is called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So
yeah,
that's one of my favorite books from my childhood. So that's going to be my fourth one.
Yeah. My fourth one is How to Be a Mentalist by Simon Winthrop, and he was a consultant for the show The Mentalist, and the book How to Be a Mentalist: Secrets from the Hit TV show. It tells you how to do the tricks that the mentalist does on screen for real in real life.
Oh wow! Okay, cool.
Yeah,
very cool. My fifth one. Randall, I don't know if you remember this. It used to be a book, and then they turned the book into a black and white movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I watched in school. I watched both. I both read the book, and I believe this one was in high school. And we watched the movie in high school. It's called 10 Little Indian Boys. And it's kind of like a murder mystery type of thing. There's these Indian statues on the table, and it's kind of like Clue, but before Clue was invented. And every time someone gets murdered, one of the Indian statues gets broken. Like someone rips off a leg, or someone rips off the head, or smashes it in some way.
J-Man's here. J-Man says, "What's up, Pierce and Randy? How are things? Things are good."
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I did already read that, but I was waiting for you to respond, because I did respond to J-Man. But yeah, things are going good on my end, and if everything goes right, me and Randall are going to hang out next weekend, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because I've been dying to hang out with you, Randall. So yeah, so number 5 is 10 Little Indian Boys. It's either, I can't remember, Randall, it's either called 10 Little Indian Men or 10 Little Indian Boys. I can't remember, but it's an old book that got turned into a black and white movie. But each one is both really good.
What's up, Carmine?
Hey, what's up,
Carmine?
Carmine?
Buddy. Hi, Fears. Hey there, Randy. Hey there, Carmine.
What's up? Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Carmine. All right, Randall, what's your fifth one?
My fifth book is 101 Cool Magic Tricks by Barb Whiter. Now, initially, these are card tricks for like kids, but if you know how to do the tricks right and you know presentation, even though these card tricks are super simple, you can make them super amazing by adding little bits of extra flair to it. So it's pretty cool.
And inside the book, what type? Is it all like card tricks, or is it half?
It's mostly card tricks, but there are a few illusions in there that they tell you how to do.
Oh, half illusions, half card tricks. Okay, cool. Yeah. Nice. Awesome. All right, number 6 for me. I'll be honest, Randall, I should have had this book already read. I just keep putting it off. I've read some of it, but what I've read is interesting, and I can't wait to finish it. It's the bio book on American Chopper's Paul Jr., not Paul Sr. I haven't got Paul Sr.'s book yet. His son, Paul Jr.'s bio book. So his life has been very interesting reading. So that is my sixth one. Go ahead.
My sixth book is called Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. It's a book on movie structure. And what I like about this book is that the book gives you exact pages and pages to hit when you're structuring your story and what to do when you're writing it. It gives you the exact page count. It says, this should happen on this page, this should happen on this page, this should happen on this page. But it still gives you a lot of latitude and directions you can go.
Randall, I have to look up the next book. I forgot the name of it. I know what it is, but I need a picture. It's someone made a book about all the behind the scenes of like the making of all the Indiana Jones movies, and I can't remember what it is. So I'm gonna try and find it.
It's called The Making of Indiana Jones by Blake Snyder.
Oh, did you find it?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Oh, there it is. It's called The Complete Making of Indiana Jones, The Definitive Story. That's what it is. So my mom, either my mom or my dad bought that for me a long time ago, and I've read half of it. And I need to finish it, but what I read so far is amazing because I love George Lucas and Steven Spielberg's work. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to abbreviate it, the Indiana Jones book.
Martin Clunes says, "Hey guys."
A lot of my books, Randall, are going to be about movies because that's my favorite subject to talk about. So yeah, yo, Martin, what's up? Well, I wouldn't say that, Martin. You know, it just all depends on what people like. You know, like I'll be honest, Randy likes magic more than I do. You know, is Randy's books better than mine? No, if that's just what Randy's into. I like music, but I like magic, but do I like it as much as Randy? No. Randy seems to like magic more than movies. I mean, wouldn't that be a good analogy, Randall?
Yeah.
Yep. So you could say the same thing about mine, Martin. Randy would be like, well, Fears, your books are more on movies and I'm more on magic, you know? So it's all in the eye of the beholder, Martin. What's up, Joey? Anyway,
yo.
Yep. He's pulling an LC, Randall. So yeah, so that's my seventh book, Randall. Martin says, yeah, that's fair enough. I guess I just considered Fears more of an intellectual. Again, I would say me and Randy are both intellectual. You know? Like, Randy's a pretty smart guy. I'm a pretty smart guy. You know? Like, Randy, I've always thought you were a pretty smart guy ever since I met you in film school.
Yeah.
So, again, Martin, I wouldn't say that. I would say me and Randy are both intellectual. Again, it's all about what people like. I'll go back to my original example. I like magic a little bit, but Randy likes magic a lot. I love movies, you know. So, yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Carmine. Damn, Martin is going nuts on Randy today. You see that, Randall? He's like, yeah, Randy.
You're smart.
But not
John Fear smart.
I'm pleading the fifth on this one. Randy, I think you're a smart guy. You know?
I'm not as smart as you, John. Come on now.
Apparently, Randall. Apparently. Again, I didn't say that because they'll blame it on me, Randall. Like, oh my God, did you hear what Fierce said yesterday? Oh man. They'll think I said it. So I'm saying it right now. I never in a million years said that Randy is not smart. I said Randy is smart. So they can't pull a fast one on me and say, oh my God, like Fears is a shitty friend. He called Randall not smart. I never said that. Not at all.
Martin says, sorry, guess just showing my John Fears fandom. Much love, Randy. Thanks, Martin.
Well, I appreciate that, Martin. I appreciate that. But I was like, holy shit, Randall, he's going nuts on you.
Yeah.
All right, Randall, that was my 7th book. Go for it. What's the next one?
My 7th one is called Immediate Fiction by Jerry Cleaver.
Okay.
It's a book on plotting and conflict, and it tells you how to write an entire story and how to always figure out the ending, even when most people can't figure out an ending, and how to get unblocked and stuff. So,
Okay. Randy, I thought it was a great book. I had to read it in high school and middle school. I forgot the name of it. It's about, isn't it? It's about a bunch of like teenagers that crash on the island, and that big fat kid dies.
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Lord of the Flies. Reading that growing up. The only thing I didn't like about it is that Piggy dies, and I think and in the book, the only one that treats Piggy semi decent is Ralph. Because
He says much clown love. I guess he's talking about my shirt. It is kind of clownish.
Oh, I didn't even see your shirt. No, it looks more like a skull, Randall.
Oh, it's a Day of the Dead shirt.
Okay. Because for a minute, well, I guess clown because it's purple or whatever. But yeah, Randall, when I read that book, it is a good book. But I don't understand why all the other teenagers gave Piggy so much shit, you know?
Uh-huh.
I mean, they did some evil shit to him before he died. Ralph is the only one that treats Piggy decent because they're buddies.
Yeah.
But yeah, but even though Piggy dies, it's a great book. So Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
That's my 8th one. Go ahead, Randall.
My 8th one is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Has a lot of good principles in it. And what I like about the book is at the end of the book, at the end of each section, they give you like little Cliff's Notes reminders of what the principles are. And, once you read the book, you can go back to the end section just to bone up on what some of the points are.
Very cool. Cool. Randall, this next one, I have the movie version of it, but I don't have the book yet. But I did rent the book from the library, and I've read it. It's amazing. It's called Hollywood Monster, and it's about Robert Englund's life. You know, the guy that portrayed Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
But everyone thinks that's just his only thing. Like, he's done so many good.
He was in a Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, he's done so many good plays and movies. Did you know that he was in that sci-fi television show V?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he played a really cool, like, slick alien. But he's trying to portray himself as a normal human. And in V, he takes a bunch of different, like, jobs. You know, like first he's a waiter, and then he works at some type of factory, and then
if I were in V, I would either be a waiter or work in a factory. I'd be one of those.
He just jumps from job to job, and he's kind of a spy because no one knows that he's an alien, and then he comes to Earth, and in the television show V, it's about how aliens and humans are trying to like coexist on the planet. Yeah. And I haven't watched all of it, but yeah. So number 9, mine is Hollywood Monster, the Robert Englund story.
Martin says, I've been reading a lot of Tony Robbins lately. I bought the script to Shallow Hal, and his thoughts are really fantastic. That's cool. Yeah.
I bought the script to Shallow Hal. Oh, wow, that's cool. Nice.
Two of my other favorite books that aren't on this list are Awaken the Giant Within and Unlimited Power. Martin, if you like Tony Robbins, you should definitely read those 2 books. Those are a seminal read if you're going to read a book by Tony Robbins. All right, go ahead with your 9th one. If you're going to read a book.
Give me 1 second, Randall. I have to take care of something.
Carmine Ragu says, I don't like reading, so I don't do it. Well, that's good for you.
Well, fair enough. I mean, it's not for everybody.
Yeah. Not everybody likes reading. Some people like,
Randall, go ahead.
Painting.
Randall, I'm trying to find my 10th one, and I can't seem to find it. I can't remember the name of it. I'm trying to look it up on Google right now. Go ahead and
I think we're on the 9th one, though.
Well, my 9th one was my Hollywood story, so you go ahead and tell your 9th one.
Okay.
While
my 9th one is called Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. He talks about how to not let failure get you down. And he talks about how, if you haven't failed, that means you haven't tried anything. And, and he talks about don't try to get things perfect. Just get the stuff out there because nobody expects you to be perfect. So, stuff like that.
Nice. And then the 10th one, I finally remembered the name of it. It was the very first book that I can remember reading. And first my mom read it to me, and then I read it myself, and then I read it in grade school. But I've always loved have you ever read Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Randall? It's such a cool book.
No, I haven't
It's
read that
one of my favorite childhood books because it was like the first book I ever read that I can remember. It's basically about it's basically about a town, Randall, that instead of normal weather, it rains food. And then it starts getting. At first, it's like really cool, like. Everyone carries around in the town like a plate, a fork, a knife, and a spoon everywhere they go because you never know when a meal is going to come. And then they bring the umbrella, and instead of rain, it rains orange juice. And then
Dr. Jenkins, MD, says, "Much love, Randy. Hope you're well. High fears."
But I always like
Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs is a tough read, but really worth sticking with.
That's not true. It's
a lot of life lessons.
It's probably one of the most easiest reads.
Oh, okay.
But the reason why I like it so much is it reminds me of my childhood because I read it so many times, and it's just one of my favorite childhood books.
Yeah.
It's just one of my favorite childhood books, and my mom read it to me, and it's one of the first books that I remember reading, and I thought it was really good. What's up, Dr. Jenkins? Good to see you. So, because it's got so many memories, and my grandma used to read it to me, Randall, I'm going to put that one as my 10th one. So, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Go ahead with yours.
My 10th and final book is the Book of Proverbs by King Solomon.
Okay.
It's in the Bible. And it just has tons of useful advice and tons of ways to make decisions for daily living and what to do. So there you go.
We crushed it, Randall. Woo! There it is. All right. So which one do you want to do next, Randall? Do you want to do the top 10 80s ones, or do you want to switch to one of my?
Let's do the top 10 80s movies.
Okay.
I was going to put Total Recall in this, but I actually looked it up, and Total Recall is 1990, not 1980.
Really? Yeah. But see, that's weird. Total Recall has got quite an 80s vibe to it. Wow.
Yeah. So all my listings for the 80s are going to be in chronological order.
Okay. Well, some of mine I'm going to have to check to see if they're actually 80s, but my first one I know for a fact is from the 80s. My favorite film, Ghostbusters, is my first one.
Yeah. In 1980, one of my favorite films of all time was The Empire Strikes Back, because it's probably the best Star Wars movie. I mean, I would have to judge Star Wars this way. Like, Star Wars A New Hope is great. Empire Strikes Back is great. But Empire Strikes Back has one of the greatest twist endings of all time.
It does.
I'd have to go with The Empire Strikes Back as the best Star Wars film.
And it's a more darker film, like Temple of Doom was their dark film in the Indiana Jones franchise. Well, Empire Strikes Back, out of the first 3 original Star Wars movie, that's their dark movie out of the franchise.
Yep. Empire Strikes Back was 1980.
Okay. My second one is The Goonies, Randall.
Yeah. My second one is Terminator from 1984.
Ooh, that's a goodie. Randall, was Raiders of the Lost Ark from the 80s? Or was that 90s?
I don't know. Look it up.
All right, hang on. When was Raiders made? Let's see here. Let's see. Yep, June 12th, 1981. So my third one is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
All right, my third one is one that we mentioned already, but A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh!
And the thing that I like about Nightmare on Elm Street as opposed to all these slasher films is that with the Nightmare on Elm Street, you can practically do pretty much anything you want to do because most of the movie takes place in the dream world.
Yeah.
And you can do whatever you want to do. You can go to a beach. You can go to the future. You can go like 50 years ago. You can go to a parallel universe. You can get inside a comic book. So
that's why Freddy is so terrifying, you know?
Yeah, because he can do just damn near anything he wants to do.
And the only time you can hurt him is when you bring him from the dream world into our world. And that's... But I don't know if you can actually kill him because he's already technically dead because the parents of Elm Street killed him because he was doing sick, disgusting things to children.
Yep. All right, number 4.
All right. I'm going to do Friday the 13th Part 3. It's probably one of my favorite Jason movies. Friday the 13th Part 3.
My fourth one is Beverly Hills Cop, starring Eddie Murphy.
That's a
Eddie Murphy was on a streak and on a roll in the 80s and early 90s. I kind of feel like he lost his edge after he had kids because he's like, oh, I got kids now. I need to start doing family movies.
Well, he probably wants to do some family movies, so then...
That's what I said, yeah. So, I mean, and...
what I'm saying is he probably did it because he wants to have some movies where he can sit down and watch some of his family movies with his children, probably.
Yeah, that's what I said. He lost his edge. Yeah. So, yeah. But Beverly Hills Cop was like prime 100% grade A Eddie Murphy, you know? Like that was him at the very, very, very tippy top of his game.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt, for sure. God, Randall, it's so hard just to pick 10. And I'm trying to pick movies that Randall was not picking.
Oh, Joey says The Last Jedi is number 1.
I'm going to say the fifth one, Back to the Future, Randall, the very first one.
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, my fifth one is Aliens from 1986.
Man,
now, the thing about Aliens is like when James Cameron took the mantle of the franchise, he said, you know what? The first one was a horror film. I'm going to take mine and I'm going to make it a war film. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty good, interesting choice.
You're picking.
And he did it, and it was one of the greatest movies of the 80s.
Randall's beating me too well. I mean, I picked some pretty good ones: Ghostbusters, Goonies, Raiders, Friday the 13th Part 3, and Back to the Future. But you're Randall, you're picking even better ones. You know.
Yeah.
You're beating me to all the good ones. All right, let's see. Next, I'm gonna say John Carpenter's The Thing. Randall, that one's a good one.
Oh yeah. My sixth one is going to be Predator from 1987.
Oh, God, I can't believe I didn't think of that one.
Predator?
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite ones that me and my dad used to watch together. Damn it.
Yeah, I know these films don't have anything to do with each other. I mean, eventually in comic books, they molded them together. And then like later on in the movies, they made Aliens and Predator together.
Yeah,
Aliens, Predator, RoboCop, and Terminator. Those all have the same feel. I don't know what it is. All of them have the exact same feel. They all feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Randall, did you see Alien versus Predator 1 and 2? Those are the only like Alien and
I've seen all Alien movies.
And the Predator movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. Those are the only two Aliens and Predator movies, like when they verse each other. I haven't seen both of those yet. All right.
What's the seventh one?
What do you think about it, Randall? My seventh one is Rambo: First Blood.
Yep. My seventh one is RoboCop 1987.
That's a good one.
Yep.
All right, number 8. I'm going to go with Dr. Jenkins. Weird Science is like total 80s.
Yeah.
80s.
My eighth one is going to have to be Lethal Weapon, starring Martin Riggs and Danny Glover. Or Mel Gibson and Danny Glover as Martin Riggs and...
Again.
Murtaugh.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. All right. I'm trying not to look at the chat, Randall, because they're writing a lot of them. So I've got this 80s movies website up, so I'm going to look at these. I gotta say,
Rambo was the 80s. Hold on, I'm going to look.
The first one, yeah.
I think Rambo might have been 70s. Hold on.
No. I think the first one was like 80 or 81. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, my ninth one, Randall, I got to go with Steven Spielberg's E.T.
Yeah.
So, E.T. Did I make a mistake? Was Rambo really like late 70s?
That's 1982. You're good.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I was like, I'm pretty sure that's 80s. All right, what's your ninth one, Randall?
My ninth one is Die Hard.
Again, Randall is beating me with all, like, you're beating me to all the good ones. Oh man, that is a good one. Okay, I'm not saying that mine isn't. I mean, I've got some good ones: Ghostbusters, Goonies, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Friday the 13th Part 3, Back to the Future, The Thing. So I am beating Randall to the punch on some of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. The 10th one. Oh, Randall, this is total 80s. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Probably one of the greatest buddy movies of all time.
Yeah.
So Bill and Ted. All right, that's my 10, Randall. What's your 10th one?
My last one is one of the greatest films of all time, starring Michael Keaton, Batman.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Beetlejuice. But again, Beetlejuice is a good one, too.
Yeah. I liked Batman. The one with Michael Keaton. He was a good Batman, and he did a really good job. And nobody thought I could do it. And not even I thought I could do it. Because, like, when I saw Michael Keaton on Jay Leno, I was like, this is the guy you get to play Batman. You didn't... Like, I would have had Arnold Schwarzenegger because he's big and huge and intimidating, but he does have that Austrian accent, and he probably couldn't lose that. But I thought, somebody big and huge and intimidating like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think Michael Keaton could do it. But when I went to the theater at 1989 and I saw Michael Keaton as Batman, I said, you know what? I didn't think he could do it, but he nailed it.
What's up, Spiritual? Spiritual says some good ones, too. He says, Fears, you already said Back to the Future. Then he says Gremlins. That's a good one. And Spaceballs. Joey's knocking it out of the park. Conan, Dune, National Lampoon's Vacation. Joey, I've seen Caddyshack. The only one I haven't seen out of Joey's is I haven't seen Dune 1984. And then Carmine, I've never seen Conan the Barbarian. I need to see that.
I mean, I think a lot of these movies are good movies, but, like, I'm just mentioning the ones that I think are the greatest of all time, especially.
That's what I was trying to do, too, with my list. Yeah. So everyone on Randall's list is pretty damn good, and then everyone on my list is pretty legendary. I mean, everybody's seen
an amazing movie. Yeah,
I've seen bits of it, Randall. Not all of it. But, like, everyone has seen Bill and Ted. Everyone's seen E.T. and Ghostbusters and Goonies and pretty much everything on my list. Everyone has seen Rambo. Everyone.
Uh-huh.
All right.
No, I was gonna do Terminator. I was gonna do a little thing on Terminator 6 today, but I can't find my notes, so I'm just gonna have to do my notes from memory. But you said you wanted to talk about the Terminator franchise.
I did. Like when
So
you
go ahead.
when you brought that up yesterday, I was like, well, one, Randall, I was relying on your notes, but yeah, try and do it by memory. My first question is where do you see the franchise going?
I don't know, but I think for the franchise to break out of the mold, I think two things need to happen.
Okay.
Number one, James Cameron needs to direct. Nobody else.
Absolutely.
Nobody else but Cameron, because he was the one who directed. I mean, there's only two really good Terminator movies, and that's Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. All the others have, like Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, I would give 10 out of 10 stars. But
Yeah.
all the other Terminators, I would give like probably a 6.5 and lower.
Okay. I threw these
The second thing they need to do is they need a new story. It can't just be two Terminators come back, they battle it out, and then one of them dies.
Yeah, I agree. It's getting a little
totally brand spanking new. You can't just copy the plot from Terminator 2.
Yeah.
That was the major problem with Part 3, Part 5, and Part 6, is they're essentially, they beat for beat, they copy Terminator 2. So they need a brand new storyline.
I agree. It's getting really redundant. Either something different. It can't just always be like we're coming back to kill John Connor. And if it's not John Connor, they're coming back to kill Sarah Connor. Or if it's not those, then it's them trying to set up the past so the future will happen. It's got to be something new. I want something new to be added to the blend.
That was what was cool about Terminator Salvation. A lot of people say out of the last four Terminator movies, Terminator Salvation is their favorite because it wasn't just the same old thing over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
They said in the future in Terminator Salvation.
I really enjoy. Yeah. The whole time. I'm sorry. No, not the whole time. The first 3 minutes is in the present, and then the rest of the movie is in the future.
Yeah.
So I really, for all the naysayers out there, I really did enjoy Terminator Salvation. I have it in my movie collection. I watched it about 5-6 months ago. Every once in a while, Randall, I like to go over to the shelf, not the wall. I like to go over to the shelf, and even though I've seen everything on the shelf, I like to just pick something out and just watch it again.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get the wall down a little bit,
Uh-huh.
Anyway, the next question on the Terminator franchise. Tell me your favorite character out of the entire franchise, and why is that your favorite character out of the entire franchise?
I would have to say Sarah Connor because, I fell in love with her in Terminator, and she really kicked ass in Terminator 2.
Mm-hmm.
And she was kind of instrumental in Terminator 6, killing all the Terminators.
And what's your favorite version of Sarah Connor? Because she's different in each one of the movies. And tell me what's your favorite version of Sarah Connor from which film and why?
My favorite version of Sarah Connor is from Terminator 2.
Okay.
And the reason I like her is because James Cameron did the same thing with Terminator that he did with Aliens. He took it to the next logical progression.
Okay.
Like Aliens, Ripley had just been through a traumatic incident, so she kind of had PTSD.
Yeah.
And that really played in as a factor in Aliens. And then they did the same thing with the Terminator. It's like if someone said, "Hey, there's robots from the future coming to kill you," yeah, they would have locked you in a mental institution. So that was the logical progression of the character.
Randall, they're making a new Aliens. I'll be honest.
It's called Alien Romulus.
Yeah, I hope it's better. The last few Aliens have just sucked so bad. I love Alien, like Alien 1, Alien 2. Those are great. Alien 3, it's pretty good. It's all right. 4, 5, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, all that bullshit, all those suck, in my opinion. I did not like them whatsoever. So Alien Romulus that's coming out. Oh, please God, I hope it's good. I hope. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm hoping. I'm hoping. All right. Next Terminator question. Randall, there's different Terminators, and they've made comic books, they've made movies, they've made TV shows. What is the best weapon you think that a Terminator has used?
Well, I think the probably the best weapon was the in the TX when she started controlling machines.
Oh,
she had like she inserted some little nanites into the cars, and they started driving.
Yeah,
she wanted to drive. And before you ask it, I'll tell you my favorite Terminator. My favorite Terminator is Kristana Loken from Terminator 3.
Is that because she's just so hot, Randall, or do you like her version?
Well, I mean, like she has really awesome powers. She's got a flamethrower. She's got a buzzsaw. She's got those nanites.
Yeah,
And, they didn't do this, but technically, like the TX kind of set up Gabriel Luna's Terminator in the fact that, she had like a liquid metal outer coating and an inside endoskeleton.
Yeah.
So she could have. I mean, they didn't use this as a plot point, but she could have split apart just like Gabriel Luna's Terminator did.
Yeah, and his is, instead of liquid metal, he's got some black goo on him.
Yeah.
But do they ever say what the black goo is on his version?
I think it's liquid metal, just a different chemical.
A different version of it.
Yeah.
I agreed. I'm going to go with Dr. Jenkins. He said his favorite is the T-1000. I got to say mine. It would go probably the T-1000 is my favorite. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator. But the Arnold Schwarzenegger's version when he's a bad guy. Not as a good guy. I like him in the first one when he's a bad guy, Randall. That's my favorite version. All right. My favorite weapon, I got to go classic, Randall. I like the Hunter Killers. Randall, which are the ones that fly around?
Those are the Hunter Killers.
I'm sorry, what are the other ones in the first one that's like a tank and they shoot purple lasers out? What are those?
I don't know. I think they're called HKs.
HKs. I think, HKs are my favorite. HKs are my favorite, and then my second favorite weapon ever is the Hunter Killers.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember because in the first and the second one, I think it's Kyle Reese or one of Kyle Reese's like buddies, takes one of those bombs and throws a bomb, and then the ones with the tanks drive over it, and it just blows the shit out of it.
Yeah.
What are those called again?
HKs.
HKs. Yeah, HKs is so far, HKs are my favorite weapon ever.
Yeah. Can I go over 3 points from Terminator Dark Fate? I remembered some of my lists.
Go ahead.
So the first thing is, like, in the very beginning of the movie, you see the Terminators coming out of the water. But a question that I like to ask myself when I'm watching movies is, like, what happened right before this scene? And I asked myself that question with this scene, and it's like, where are these Terminators starting from? Did they get in a ship and they just jumped out of the boat in the middle of the sea and then walked up onto the beach?
All of them start in the factory, like where they're created. But like,
I'm talking about where did the Terminators get into the water?
Oh, yeah.
Like, did they jump out of the boat and they just sank, or did they start in Japan and then like walked across the ocean for like miles and miles and miles?
You make a very good point, Rand, because they just come out of the water, and I'm like, well, what the fuck are they doing in the water?
Yeah, it's like, did they jump out of the boat or something, or did they start in the factory in Japan, and like what's going on there? And
they, in every single movie, they tell you what the factory is called, Cyberdyne Systems, but they don't ever really tell you they kind of tell you where the factory is located. Isn't it located in LA?
Yeah, because Sarah Connor blows it up in
in number 2.
Yeah.
But then later on in the future, there's a future factory.
Yeah.
And you never really find out where in the future where that factory is located. Do you think that factory is still in LA, Randall?
Probably somewhere, yeah.
The future version of LA?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my second point was, can they control where the energy balls show up? Because if so, like, whoever did the energy ball for Grace was a major dickhead.
Yeah.
Because, like, she appears in the middle of a bridge, and she falls down, and she hits every pylon and every girder going down, and it's like,
pretty much,
couldn't you have dropped her in a better spot? You know, because she really takes a beating. She like hits all the bars on the way down to the ground. And
I'd say the best person that's had a safe journey is Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator. In the first one, he arrives like in between a truck on the ground. The second time he arrives again near a truck, and then the third time he arrives just in the desert, and then he walks to the truck stop, and then he finds that all male strip club, and then he takes the male strippers' leather pants and his leather jacket.
Yeah.
So, but all the other ones, like Kyle Reese, he lands in the air, and then he falls down into an alleyway and hurts himself.
Yeah, and I always imagine the technician who did Grace's ball, like maybe he was like an ex-boyfriend of hers, and he's like, yeah, you want to break up with me, I'll show you something. And then he, like, you know, sets her up over a bridge where she hits every bar on the ground. And like,
then Kyle Reese in Terminator Genesis, him and Sarah Connor land right in the middle of a highway.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're going to get hit by cars. So I'm like, whoever's operating the time machine does not know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, I read this online when I was studying Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah.
There's a truck that's coming towards Grace's energy ball. And that energy ball is actually supposed to be Sarah Connor's truck because she knows where everybody's like appearing.
Oh, yeah.
So wow. She in the first drafts of the scripts, she was actually coming to meet Grace and see what was going on.
Okay. All right, cool.
And then in Terminator Dark Fate, this is a third point, and I remembered a fourth one too. In Terminator Dark Fate, Sarah says she killed at least 2, and implies 3 Terminators. And like I'm thinking, well, what did she do with the Terminators? Because, you know, like in T2, she dropped both of them into molten metal, so there was no evidence. Like, what happened to the other 2 or 3 Terminators? Did she just blow them away and leave them for the police to find? Because, I mean, if the police found it, they would have turned it into the scientists, and they would have tried to recreate it. So, like, what happened to those other 3 Terminators? What happened to their bodies?
Because in the first one, in the very first movie, Cyberdyne Systems doesn't even exist. The only reason why Cyberdyne Systems exists in the second one is because they find the hand and the little CPU chip in that robot factory.
Crusher machine, yeah.
In the crusher. Randall, what type of
printing press machine, yeah.
What type of factory was the first one that him and Kyle and
I don't think they ever say, but there was like a compactor that crushed them.
Yeah, and that
was Sarah's big line at the end of the movie. She's like, "You're terminated, fucker."
Yeah. To me, it looked like it was like a car factory because they had that arm moving back and forth, and it looked like it was putting together like some car parts, and then they had the crusher. So I don't know what factory it is, but the only reason why Cyberdyne Systems exists in the second one is because that one guy asked the black guy, like, "Hey, can you tell me where it came from?" And he's like, "You know what? I asked them that exact question. You know what they said to me? Don't ask." And you know what? Actually, if you watch the Terminator, the very first Terminator, I got the Blu-ray, and if you watch the bonus features, Jim Cameron made it was a deleted scene where they go back into the factory and they're cleaning up the broken pieces from the Terminator that got crushed in the press, and before he gets blown up, and some nerdy guy with glasses and a big fat guy finds the chip and says, "I wonder what this is," and he says, "Some type of microchip." And he says, "Get it to data analysis the first thing Monday morning." Mm-hmm. And when they walk out, that factory that Sarah came out like in the hospital and all that, it says Cyberdyne Systems, but they decided to leave that out. I guess he wasn't ready to. So he had the idea for Cyberdyne Systems in the first one, but he decided not to debut Cyberdyne Systems in the first one. Yeah. But have you ever seen that deleted scene, Randall?
No, I haven't.
It's really next time you come over, I'll show it to you. I'll pull out Terminator, and it's on.
Yeah, Cyberdyne Systems was the computer company, and then the program, the AI that they developed, was called Skynet.
Yeah, because Skynet is a product from the Cyberdyne Systems company.
Yeah. And the last thing I have on Terminator Dark Fate is there's a scene where Grace lifts up her shirt and she says, they put this tattoo on me like I couldn't remember shit. And I'm like, why would you put that tattoo on her stomach? Wouldn't it be easier to read if you put it on her freaking arm and shit?
And before we end this, Randall, because I'm getting real tired, I think I'm going to save the movie questions for another day, because between going out and doing errands and I didn't get much sleep last night. I had some new people move in, and I don't know who moves in the middle of the night, but they were making all sorts of noise. And then I got up really early for church. I'm gonna take a nap. So
John Hinckley says he's gonna go hop on the toilet first, so we need to wait for him.
Wow, that was too much information, but thanks for the update. Thanks for the update, buddy. All right. No, my last thing about this is, Randall, about the Terminator. I always like how he it doesn't. For some reason, it doesn't make any sense why they send them naked. Like, to me.
Well, they said nothing dead can go through. Remember, that's why they don't send weapons and stuff.
Yeah, but see, there's a flaw in that. They're sending like a metal Terminator. It's not alive,
Yeah, but it's covered in organic material,
like the flesh. So yeah. I guess that flesh is alive.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It seems a little far-fetched because, yes, I'll give them that the flesh that they put on the Terminator is alive.
That doesn't make sense for the TX and the T1000 because those guys are all metal.
Yeah, and they have liquid metal on them.
Yeah.
So again, how can they send them? But as a kid, whenever I watched as a kid, I'm like, why wouldn't they send them with weapons and clothes already on them, so then they wouldn't have to worry about that? Like, I always found it funny anytime a Terminator is sent to Earth in the past. But before they start their mission, they have to find clothing. They have to find weapons. And the best one that does that is Terminator 1. Like, you see him beat the shit out of those punks, get their clothes, then he, busts his hand through a window, steals a car, so now he's got a car. And then he's like, all right, well, I don't have any futuristic weapons, so now I'm going to have to work with what weapons they have in the 80s. So he goes into a gun shop.
Yeah. He
kills the gun owner, takes all the guns, and then he's ready for his mission.
Yeah.
So yes, I like the setup. I think that's good storytelling, but they need to work on, okay, I get it. If you're a human, yes, you can send a human. If it's a machine but it's got flesh on it, then yes, the flesh is alive. But they need to explain how in the world, because I would like to know as a movie watcher, how in the hell can they send a Terminator that's full metal with no flesh on it, or a Terminator that's full metal and has a liquid metal, coating all over it.
Yeah. Well, they say the Terminator is a mimetic polyalloy, so maybe they can't set dead stuff through it, but maybe the polyalloy is okay.
Maybe
that would be an answer to that question.
Because but see, Randall, it seems like you're smarter than the filmmakers because they've never, like you just told me a reliable answer.
Yeah.
But they never explain that.
Yeah.
They never explain how the full metal Terminators, without any organic tissue, can go through the time machine.
Well, one of my questions for a real long time is like, okay, well, you can send people back to 1984. Why don't you go to why don't you go back to 1776 and kill John Connor's great grandfather? I mean, people in 1776 aren't going to have technology that can beat a Terminator. I'll tell you that much.
You've got something with that, Randall. It would be cool to see a Terminator like in medieval times, or Terminator in the caveman days. They should create a story and do that. That would be a nice twist.
This is my headcanon. Headcanon is where you make up explanations for movies that they don't explain themselves. But my headcanon is that it takes a lot of power to send you back in time. And the farther back in time they send you, the more power it takes. So they only have enough power to send people back to the 80s. They don't have enough power to send them back to the 70s or further.
But see, they've never touched on that, and they should do that. The only two time periods that they've sent them to the 80s, the 90s, 2019, and then the rest of them are in the future.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea, right? I would love them to send it back to the 50s or the 40s or even
do like what they did in Prey.
Yeah. That's great. That's a prequel to the Predator, and it was so cool to see an early. It's not the version of Predator that we know. It's an early version.
Yeah.
Of a Predator, I think it's the first of its kind. Goes to Earth, and it's like in the cowboy days, and it's the Indians versus. I really enjoyed Prey.
Yeah, well, it was all from Predator 2 when at the end of the Predator 2, Danny Glover gets little musket type gun. Yeah. And then Prey shows you how that Predator got that musket type gun.
Yeah, how he got the musket gun. Yeah. Which is great, though. But I would love to see a Terminator, like you said, in the medieval castle days in Britain or something like that, or in the caveman days or in the 50s or the 40s. It would make for great storytelling. Now, again, they would have to create a believable story to have a reason to send them that far back. But, I mean, I think they could. Because they've never touched on that. That would be great. To see, a Terminator galloping on a horse.
Yeah.
Going across a...
The Terminators weigh 400 pounds. That Terminator would probably crush the horse.
You know what I mean, Randall? It would be so cool to see a Terminator galloping on a horse across the drawbridge, entering a castle, and just killing tons of knights and creating war and chaos and going fucking ballistic,
Yeah. My idea for a Terminator 7, I would forget John Connor. I would forget Sarah Connor. I would forget Danny Ramos. What I would do is I would do what James Cameron did with Aliens, and I would change the genre. I would make it a romantic comedy, and I would have Seth Rogen as one of the programmers at Skynet, and he's doing his programming shit and doing all this. Yeah. And then after a while, some of his friends start dying. They start being shot mysteriously, and he's like, "Oh shit, what's going on here?" And then just turn the whole thing into a romantic comedy.
Speaking of Aliens, Joey wrote me the other day, and he said, "Joey, didn't you say you're going to watch the entire series? Or did you watch the entire series, Joey?" But he did say that he was going to watch Aliens, and I was like, as of this date, I've watched all of the Aliens in that 6 film.
I've seen all the Aliens movies too.
Now I've seen them all. up until the new one. So whenever the new,
come to think of it, I've seen all the Aliens, I've seen all the Terminators, I've seen all the RoboCops, and I've seen all the Predators.
the only ones I have not seen out of that, I've seen all the RoboCops, every single version. I've seen every single Alien up until this new one. When the new one comes out, I'll watch it. I've seen all the Rambos. I've seen all the, what was the other one you said? I've seen all the just the Predator movies. But the only ones that I haven't seen, Randall, are the crossovers. Alien versus Predator 1, and what's the second one called?
Aliens vs. Predator Requiem.
Yeah, those are the only two I need to see.
Now, there are some RoboCop movies that I haven't seen because some of them were straight-to-TV movies, but those straight-to-TV movies were totally shit.
Oh, I forgot. I haven't watched the RoboCop cartoon series, and I haven't watched the RoboCop television series, because the RoboCop television series is supposed to take place, I believe, in between right after RoboCop 2, but before RoboCop 3, and then the cartoon series is supposed to take place after RoboCop 3.
RoboCop the series is pretty good. They had a lot of interesting technology, like like they were disabling these like DVDs, and they were spraying an acid spray on it, and that was pretty cool. And, RoboCop had lie detection technology in there. That was pretty cool.
In the television series, did they still make the weird, shitty, crappy commercials?
I think there were a few, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Because that's the thing you got to have in a RoboCop movie is you got to have the shitty 80s commercials.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what? In the remake of RoboCop, the only thing they refer to the "I'll buy that for $1," but they never, not once, show not one commercial in the RoboCop remake, and it sucked.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, when you're writing like a movie, like in a genre, you gotta have those moments.
Yeah,
you know, like in a suspense movie, you need suspense. You know, in a funny movie, you need jokes. In like a horror movie, you gotta have creative kills and like a shower scene.
And I'll be honest, Randall,
movie, if you want to stay true to RoboCop, you need those goofy ass commercials.
You know, my old friend Keegan from Missouri, that's one of my favorite projects that me and Keegan worked on was
the Magnavolt commercial.
Yeah, our version of the remake of it, and people loved it. It got like 2,000 views, and I loved it. And you know what? We only shot for 2 days. It took us 2 days. The hardest part was finding a garage that people would let us film in. And we went and we asked about 4 or 5 people, and they said, no. Finally, I said, Keegan, the only way that we're going to do this is we don't ask anyone, and we get in, quickly shoot it, and get out.
Yeah.
So we had to quickly shoot all the inside, and I kept messing up.
Yeah, I know. I did the electricity effects for that.
Yeah, I quit. I kept messing up because people were watching us. So what we did is we shot it in bits. So we would shoot a little bit, and then we'd leave, and then we'd come back later when the security guards would switch out, Randall. Because if we still shot there, it was the same security guard. A couple of them was like, "You're not shooting in here. Get the hell out." So we would come back the next day, and I said, Keegan, we're going to have to shoot this in parts. So the first thing we shot was I had my car parked, and you know when he comes in and he's running? He's running towards the car, and then we shot that first, and then we shot him trying to break into the car. Then a security guard told us to leave, and then we came back the next day, and then we shot all of my interaction where I'm like, Magnavolt, the ultimate solution in auto security. No more troubling alarm noise. You know, no need to bother the police. And then I open the door, and then Keegan gets electrocuted, and his body falls out. I did that in like 2 or 3 takes, and then I looked at Keegan and I said, all right, let's get the hell out of here before they throw us out again. That was the hardest part.
Yeah.
But and he was in 3 of my other short films. He was in the Punisher short film. He was in 2 of my podcasts. He was in he was in my He was in the second Layers of Insanity short film. Remember that? That was another one.
He was in The Deal. I forgot.
No, he wasn't in The Deals. I shot The Deal before Layers of Insanity. And
who were the two people other than you in The Deal? One in The Deal.
In the first one, it was just me and Mike. The second one was me, Mike, and Jonathan.
And what was the direction that you gave to Jonathan? You were the director on that one, right?
I was a director on both of them. Jonathan,
tell me what direction you gave them.
Jonathan was my sidekick, and I basically told Jonathan, I said, Jonathan, you're going to wait in the car, and then I said, we're going to fuck over Mike's character. So I said, I'm going to go up, I'm going to give him the cash, we're going to do the deal. And I said, when I get back in the car, there's a shot where Jonathan hands me the detonator, which was really my garage door opener, but it looked so cool. It kind of looked like a detonator. You know, when you push a button, a red light turned on. I thought this will make a perfect detonator. So I was like, adios, fucker. And I push it. The red light goes on, and you hear Mike go, oh, shit. And then his car blows up.
And when you did that, I died of laughter when you said, when the guy said, adios, fucker.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what, Randall? I didn't have that written in the script because me and Mike wrote a script. I just kind of improv that. And the first time, it's in the behind the scenes. Jonathan was filming. Jonathan starts laughing. Mike starts laughing, and we had to reshoot it. So yeah. Well, buddy, it's been a good. We went for about an hour, so I think I'm going to cut it off because I'm getting really tired.
Okay, well, we got through the top 10 list. I got through most of my notes. I had a lot of notes, and if I can find it, we'll do another Terminator Dark Fate thing.
Yeah, if you want to do a part 2 one day when we do another part 2 of the Terminator stuff.
But I got to take a whiz, so I'll see you later, everybody.
All right, later, Randall. I'm gonna end it myself.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well. I appreciate everybody in the chat coming in. Hopefully next week, me and Randall get to hang out because me and Randall haven't hung out in real life in quite a while. He's been busy, I've been busy, but I hope everybody had a good weekend. I hope everybody enjoyed the stream, and I will see you guys tomorrow. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to FearsMan26 on YouTube, the main channel. Fears Vlog is channel number 2. Subscribe to my friend Randy's 2 channels, Cameo Man 2021, and his second channel, The Mayor of Magic. And I'm taking off, but this is Fears, signing off. Peace, deuces, and we'll see you guys next time. Later, guys.